plugged in, we doing it big. Yeah, exotic chicks and damn they bad. AK the King, Marie the Queen. Okay, yeah, we rep the sports and breeding team. Plug, we plugged in, we doing it big. Yeah, exotic chicks and damn they bad. AK the King, Marie the Queen. Okay, yeah, this is plug music. For the pin and the black top, number one, we straight drop. Put on for your city outreaches worldwide. No haters, out love. You wanna put on, prove just pull up. Historian, out trust. Created a space to build with our love.
What's up? This is your girl Mari.
Mhm.
Today, Saturday, January 20th, we got
Really?
Michael Arizpe with us tonight. And we're gonna talk to about his story. What's up, Michael? How's everything going tonight down there in Houston?
Going well. I was doing good. I'm doing good.
So, okay, so you got an interesting story, right? So you were incarcerated for 26 years, which is a long time at in Texas. Can you how
Mhm.
and you just got home
Right.
recently. So how has that been how has life been since you touched down?
Um, in many ways, it's been challenging.
Hmm.
After doing a lot of time in prison, seeing that I took a great interest in educate myself and learning and reading, I
Hmm.
thought that was what's going to give me a head out here in society.
Yeah.
But that was only half true because when you're in a society, you have to have a job skill. You have to have something that will actually pay the bills. And
Hmm.
after being locked up a long time, uh, a lot of times the prisons put a lot of stipulations on your parole. For instance, I'm on a GPS monitor. I have to do 2 AAs a week. I have to go to anger management, which gladly I just completed. I still
Hmm.
have to do aftercare after going through a halfway house. So that, with the addition of paying bills, making sure that the rent is paid, I had to relearn how to drive, had to get a driver's license again. Having to deal with the hardships of learning technology after being gone. I was locked up since 1996, so I was only 19 years old. Here I am, 46 years old now. It's been
Yeah.
challenging having to meet people online or dealing with text messages and paying bills and so forth, where I'm used to looking at people in the eye, uh, basically getting to know them on a one-on-one basis. Now you're having to meet people behind the screen.
Yeah. So I know sometimes they have programs, right,
Yeah.
where they do like before you get out, like they'll do I think what is their life skills one of them they do before like where you got to do like a certain program before you get to go home to be able to help with going back into society.
Yes. Well, actually, they do offer what they call ITPs, inmate treatment plans, which consist of like Voyager, Authentic Quest to Manhood.
Mhm.
Um, they have a lot of different programs you can get into dealing with parenting or bridges to life. But in my opinion, a lot of those programs are outdated. A lot of
Mhm.
them are like 80s, early 2000s. Actually, that's one
Wow.
of my missions right now is to revise a lot of these programs because I believe that this information needs to be updated. I just finished a 6-month program where we literally watched the same video over and over and over. And the program was probably like in the early 2000s. So there's nothing to really reach people, especially in today's day and time, and give them updated information from what I've been experiencing for the last,
Mhm.
I'm gonna say, 6 months in these programs. But the primary thing about prison is that there is a lot of things that will help you. Whereas if you want to learn the law, if you want to
Mhm.
get into education, get your GED, which is very important. Getting a vocation. Um, I mean, that's once again, that's one of the primary things is in prison, you have to take advantage of every educational atmosphere that there is. You have to learn to want to grow and learn and educate yourself because it's a forever thing. But in my opinion, a lot of these programs are outdated and we need to revise them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine if they're running like a really old video. You know what I mean? Like things have changed so much since 2000 until now. You know what I mean?
Nation is relevant. But when you seeing some guy in bell bottoms, with plaid shirts, or uh outdated hairstyles, you can't really relate. It's like,
Right.
hey man, who's this cat? But they still say some real things. There's I think one of the most profound thing I heard in one of the videos that I watched was that life is simply about how you see yourself in relationship to the world. So
Hmm.
minus what error, what the video looked like, what he was wearing, the information was still on point. That self-image, that self-identity, that self-definition, and how you relate to the world as a whole, having that right mental attitude towards the obstacle and challenges in life. You just got to be able to take the curriculum, personalize it, and make it relevant to yourself. So, I mean,
Yeah.
once again, even though the information or the videos are outdated, a lot of people couldn't grasp it, or really it wouldn't keep their attention because it's something they couldn't relate to. The information was still relevant. Yeah.
Yeah. How important is it to have a support system out here?
Oh wow. Oh wow. If you don't have a support system, it's very, very, very difficult because, like, for instance, when they put me in the halfway house, uh we couldn't have cell phones. We were expected to be on a bus to every location that we went to. Whereas in 2024 now, I mean, who doesn't have a cell phone? The government gives you
Hmm.
cell phones if you don't have one. So you had people that were homeless that had cell phones, but you
Yeah.
you you
Yeah.
yourself in this program couldn't have access to a cell phone. You couldn't make a simple phone call to find directions, or find out what the bus route is. You had to ask somebody. So yeah, having a support system that, I started from the bottom, and I had to go to like searching homeless to try to get housing. You do get like food stamps. I think the biggest thing that they do help you with, though, and I have it but I'm still working through the process, is FAFSA, which helps you get back into college and get you some type of vocation that the government helps you with. But if you don't have a support system, it's very, very hard. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but I am saying if you're not willing to go through a long stretch like that, I seen people that had done 20 years plus in this halfway house, and within 2 weeks, just with the little freedom they had, they were back to drinking, smoking, and doing things that
Hmm.
got them sent back to prison. So yeah, you got to be ready, and it's hard. It is hard. It's very difficult, especially after doing that amount of time.
Yeah. Well, I think some of these guys, are doing it in prison. They're getting all turned up, lit, doing whatever, and then they get a turn to get home, and they end up in these houses, right? And then they start they're still doing it. So obviously they're still gonna act the fool, right?
Yes, unfortunately so. You know, it's it's funny because I had went to one of my classes today, and we watched this film that I heard a lot about. It was called the Stafford experiment, and
Hmm.
it was actually created in 1971. And
Hmm.
basically what they did is they took a group of students and they reenacted a prison scenario, and they basically divided the students between the ones that were going to play the guards versus the ones that were going to, and it was a very, very interesting and even to me myself therapeutic film to see the dynamics of to where somebody could be they get exposed variables of within the prison culture. And so it's
Hmm.
easy to fall in that mindset that you basically make prison the streets, and you continue on with that same activity of being in drama or violence, or being indoctrinated by the different concepts
Hmm.
there, still smoking and drinking and
Hmm.
doing what you do. That's your choice. But there is very few people that take that time and really apply themselves and allow themselves to do introspection, reflection. and determine that they need to make real serious changes in their life. And if they don't do that with that amount of time, somewhere along the line, go through some type of paradigm shift, it's going to be real hard. It's going to, because it's not, to me it's not a temptation, because I know anything can send me back to prison.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't allow anything to be uh in my way that's going to make me think, okay, this is acceptable. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't get high, because I know that it just takes that one drink, it takes that one smoke, it just takes being
Mm-hmm.
around the wrong environment, people, places, and things, as they say, and there I go down that slippery slope. So it takes self-discipline. And I think one of the coolest things that I've heard within the last week on social media, I think it was Instagram, where somebody said that self-discipline is the greatest form of self-love. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
develop that discipline to come out here and really be about your business. If not, the saying goes, me and Bill boys play. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Man, I can't even imagine how you felt. Can you tell us a little bit how you felt the day before you were actually released? Like what was going through your mind? You know what I'm saying? Because I've know there's some guys who don't have any support, any love. They ain't got nothing waiting for them out here, and they don't want to leave. You know, they're like, "Now I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying here." You know what I mean? But I mean, what was it like the day before you got released?
Hey, that's a pretty cool question, because I was asked that a lot, because the facility I was at, I was the person who had the most time at that time. I got still a 7-8 number. And so, I mean, there comes a certain amount of respect, a certain kind of like acknowledgement from the officers, as well as the other people that you're doing time with, when you have that type of time under your belt. And I would get asked that question frequently, like, what are you going to do after all this time? I mean, how do you feel? And honestly, I was numb. Uh, I was going over some of my notes for this interview, and primarily I was numb because prison had desensitized me to a lot of emotions. I had become very um not necessarily comfortable, but just, I don't know what the proper word would be, but just accustomed to the lifestyle, the culture of prison. And
Mhm.
I couldn't really say what I would feel, because I really didn't have no feeling. It was just like I was numb.
Like
And
you had your
from
guard
that
up
day
at
that
all
they've let
times,
me out
right?
to now, it's like you have to. You have
Mhm.
to, because trust is a big factor in prison, and it's going to be very few people, if any, that you actually trust. So yeah, in a lot of ways, you're going to keep your guards up. You're not going to allow people to get close to you, because you simply don't want to put yourself in an unnecessary situation.
So you were saying, so basically that day before you just felt like, were you kind of like in disbelief?
I guess that when I actually got to that point where I was being released, they were giving me my free world clothes. It was funny because my wife, she gave me the whole Adidas look,
Oh yeah.
the Adidas shirt with the Adidas shoes, the black pants, and the guy said, "Man, damn, man, you look like you just stepped back into the '90s, right?" So, I mean, we when you put the clothes back on, then you start finding that identity again,
Mhm.
to as far as how would you say, how you project yourself to others. I think in prison, one of the main things that I would always tell people, because I counseled with a lot of guys, that I would tell them that the greatest responsibility any man has is to define who he is. And stepping back into those clothes, it wasn't the clothes no more. Prior to going to prison, it was the clothes, it was the jewelry, it was the
Mhm.
girls, it was the drugs, it was the lifestyle, it was the alcohol, it was everything that surrounded me. But I basically allowed those things to define me. And basically, when I got incarcerated and those things were stripped from me, and them iron gates closed, then the music stopped. And in
Mhm.
prison, you know, you wear the same clothes, you eat the same meals, you live in the same cells. You're doing this redundantly for years at a time, and the only distinction between one person and another is their character. So
Mhm.
character building becomes a primary thing when you're in prison, because now you're being tested by trials and tribulations and obstacles and challenges on the daily, and how you react to those things or respond to those things rather really defines who you are. And so coming back into a free world society, minus the clothes and the earrings and the cars and everything that you're gonna get back from being out here,
Mhm.
they no longer define you. You know,
Mhm.
you're self-defined, and they don't make you. So whether you have it or
Mhm.
you don't have it, you're consistent with who you are.
Yeah. Well, so what are you doing now that you're how long has it been since you got released?
So I think I got out the halfway house in October.
Mhm.
So literally, I've only been out a few months. I was real blessed by my wife's decision to move where we're at. I was employed by the landowner, basically my landlord, and he basically
Mhm.
took me under his wing. And
Mhm.
he's a successful businessman. Yeah, he's Mexico. He's Mexicano. He's in Mexico right now. How you doing, Mr. Laro? Uh,
I'm like, hi,
what?
Mr. Laro.
Yeah, hi, Mr. Laro. You know, hey, Mr. Orlando. Uh, he's become more than a boss. He's become a mentor. He's he's taught me so much, and he continues to teach me so much. And he always tells me, man, he said, I don't know if I can say this, but he says, man, you ain't shit, man. He says, but you're all I got, because he's
Mhm.
telling me that, you know, yeah, man, because I was literally, he's teaching me electrical, plumbing, framing. I dropped my first motor. I
Mhm.
mean, we're working on cars. I got my business that I'm starting, a Royal Crown Society, Rehabilitation, Reform, and Community Service. I mean,
Can you tell us a little
literally,
bit
I
about
can go
your
to
the
him
business
about
that you have
anything.
going on?
Yeah. Right now I'm having to go through the process to get it registered, but what it's called is Royal Crown Society, Rehabilitation, Reform, and Community Service. Basically more like a mentorship. I want to really get in the Latin communities. I really want to get with the youth. I want to go back to the prisons, the juveniles. You know, I had to learn while I was in prison that basically it was entertaining the wrong images, the wrong ideas, the wrong concepts about who I was, which led
Mhm.
me to prison. And in order to change that, you have to change that mental reflection, going back to how you see yourself in relationship to the world. I like to consider myself a businessman, an entrepreneur. So basically, you know, finances, you know, are a struggle at this point, but basically
Mhm.
the business is geared towards helping people find their purpose in life, giving them an opportunity to expand beyond what the norm is, you know, social media or the music and the clothes, man. Find out who you are as an individual,
Mhm.
and bring out the best of a person, and then help them along the path so that they can find how they're going to be industrious in our society. Because if you're not an asset to society, then you're a liability. And a lot of people don't
Mhm.
understand that when people go to prisons, you know, they're not just locking you up because you're a threat to society. You're a threat to yourself, because if you don't care about yourself, you're not going to care about anybody
Yeah.
else.
Mhm.
So yeah, we have to reach back, and we got to help people find that inner self-worth, because I believe a lot of people in prison were actually insecure. I mean, they just didn't know who they were in this world. They really just didn't know how to allow those gifts, those talents within them to come out and flourish, so that they can bring their best to this world. You know, Gandhi said something along the lines, it's about being the change that you want to see in the world. So, you know, it's a mental as well as an emotional development to reach that point, and they go hand in hand, because you have to develop not only intellectually, but you have to develop emotionally. And
Mhm.
in doing those two things, then you go through these different stages of basically being aware of the life lessons that we are going to experience in life.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true, man. We can go into that like in detail, you know what I'm saying? But I know we're cutting on time. So if you can give a piece of advice to the young brothers out there in the street, what advice would that be?
Um, one of the things that I really learned in prison is why people represent the things that they represent. Like, where did
Mhm.
it originate from? What was the first original intention behind even establishing a lot of organizations or concepts that we still use today? And what I would say is research what you're a part of, or if you're not a part of something, whatever you identify with, really research those things to see if that's you. Because a lot of times we adapt to somebody else's way of life or what their thoughts are,
Mhm.
and they're not really who we are. But we just kind of are molded by our environment. We're a product of our environment, whether it's religion, whether it's what your mama said, or whatever the
Mhm.
case may be. You got to sit back and you have to analyze. You have to question. Do I believe that? Is that really resonate with me? Does this really make sense? And do the homework. Get the facts so you can find your truth, because your truth is your conviction, and your conviction is your power.
Mhm. Good advice right there. So, but
Yeah. I had to thank you for giving me this opportunity. We've been kind of playing phone tag, and I'm always gonna give you a
Mhm.
big thumbs up and so forth for all the things that you're out here doing with AKM Publishing.
Mhm.
A brother AK, man, you already know. I just want to thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak to you, putting me out there, letting my voice be heard, and,
Mhm.
and giving my first shot to tell people how I feel, what I think, and let them know what mission I'm on. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been done without you. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you having faith in me and giving me this opportunity.
For real. Well, you're in the right spot. You're in the right direction, bro. So keep it going. I'll be in Houston coming up in a few days. So
Yeah,
maybe you talk to your wife.
yeah.
We can all link up or do something. Go out to dinner. Oh wait, you
My
can't go out
wife,
for
I
dinner,
already
right?
told her we gonna come scoop you up.
Oh, okay, okay. I was gonna say. Oh wait. But I thought you.
You ain't gotta rub it in, but
Oh.
no, that's yeah, oh yeah, you think that's funny? Okay, I
No.
got you. But yeah, hey, for you guys that ain't ready, if I had to say one last thing, to
Mhm.
this interview, one of the things that I really learned was the importance of having structure.
Mhm.
Because in prison you have structure, and they tell you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it every moment of your day. So when you get out of here, you got to have structure. You have to have discipline. You have to be able to be about the business, man, because it's too easy to get caught up. So they got
Mhm.
me on a GPS monitor. I'm very structured for the whole month.
Yeah.
I got to let them know where I go, when I go, how I'm gonna go, when I'm gonna be back. So, I mean, you have to walk that line, and you just have to have more discipline than they're gonna put on you, because if not, you're gonna fail. I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, stay strong, brother. You know what I'm saying? And like I said,
For
thanks
sure.
for being on AKM for Life podcast today. And I'm looking forward
Already.
to keep working with you and what you got going on down there in Texas.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah, we fixing to make it happen. We fixing to make it happen. That's 2024. That's the anthem. That's how we push it, man. We making it
for
happen.
real,
We make good days. We don't have good days. Yeah,
exactly. We're gonna make it happen.
I got you. That's what it is. There's certain unforeseeable things in life, but it always comes down to your mental attitude. It always
Hmm.
comes down to that self-talk. Because sometimes you're gonna people have people even in your corner that ain't pushing or encouraging you or
Yeah,
supporting you, man. You just gotta believe in yourself. You just gotta keep telling you, man, let's go. Let's make it happen. Let's go. I'm successful. I'm gonna be victorious. I'm gonna do it. You can't stop telling yourself, those positive affirmations, man. You got to.
right.
You got to.
All right, bro. Well, I hope you and your wife have a good evening, rest of your weekend. And it was nice chopping it up with you. And hopefully, we meet in person this in a few days
Already.
so we can all meet and keep things
Oh
moving.
yeah, I look
So,
forward to it.
all right, bro. AKM for life.
What you gonna do?
Get down, stay down, or move around.
All right.
Free AK and publish.
It's that AKM music, man.
We mighty on it.
It's going down.